Salam and welcome. Thank you for joining me in my latest book release, which is called 365 Days of Coping with Cancer. And this is spiritual insights. I'm just trying to find my pointer. Inspirational insights to be mentally strong and program your brain for mental toughness, right? Available as an ebook download. So, fighting cancer. I'll just go very quickly through here just to show you the index and the table of contents, and then we can start with today's episode, right? This is just a brief index. Other books written by myself, a brief bio about myself, my love for quotations, and my love for quotations started from the age of 15 or 16 years old, and I've been doing that for all my life. So even though I'm 66 years old today, alhamdulillah, I'm still collecting quotations, right? Then Chapter 4 is Cancer Basics, which we're going to start with today, inshallah. What causes cancer, types of cancer, diagnosis and treatment of cancer, hope and the human spirit. What do you say to someone who has cancer? And then this is the main part of the book, 365 inspirational quotations to program your brain for mental toughness. So you can go through one quote per day, or you can read 10 quotes per day. If you go through one quotation per day, you can go through that over an entire year. That means every single day you are programming your brain with beautiful thoughts. So please get a copy for yourself or for someone who you care about, and let's get started. These are just some of the other books that I've published as well. Islam in the Media, Chronic Illness. This is a history of my life. Just about my illness, not my life, just about the spinal disability. Then a book on marriage, Lion Codes, 365 Days of Jalaluddin Rumi, Rahmatullah Alayh, Lovers of the Quran, Motivational Fitness, Coping with Breast Cancer, Honoring Your Mother, and so on, right? Okay, that's just a brief bio about myself and my love for quotations, as I mentioned. But we'll skip these sections so we can get to the main meat of the substance, which is coping with cancer over 365 days, right? Inspirational insights to be mentally strong. That's the title of the book, 365 Days of Cancer, and it's available as an ebook download. Episode number 1. Cancer 101, Back to Basics. And as what I mentioned in my previous programs, I love to do everything simple and back to basics, right? So what is cancer? Cancer is not one disease, but it is a group of diseases that occur when cells in the body grow uncontrollably and spread to other parts of the body. So just think of it as your garden. You have beautiful roses in your garden, and suddenly, for whatever reason, there's weeds all over the place. And the more you try and control the weeds are just growing all over the place. It's out of control, right? So in a healthy body, cells grow. Now just remember, there's always a balance. Remember the term homeostasis. The word homeostasis means balance. What comes in must go out, so there's always a balance. But now in cancer, something goes wrong with the balance. Let's see what happens. In a healthy body, your cells, they grow, they divide, and then they die in an orderly way. The human body is absolutely amazing and incredible. There is harmony, there is equilibrium, there is homeostasis. On average, in a healthy person, approximately 50 billion with a B, yes, you read that correctly, cells die every single day. And 50 billion cells are replaced every single day. So somewhere along the line, something is going to go wrong, right? Now remember, even though this sounds like a big number, the human body has got 30 to 40 trillion cells. Trillion with a T. And then another 30 trillion cells just in the gut, your bacteria in the gut, right? So a human body got about 60 to 70 trillion with the T cells in the human body. It's absolutely amazing. Now, in the case of cancer, cells don't die when they should, and instead they multiply abnormally. Those cells may form a lump, which is called a tumor or a neoplasm. Neo means new and plasm means tissue, a new form of tissue that's formed, or in the case of blood cancer, spread through the blood. Some tumors or cancers are referred to as benign, which means that yes, there is growth of there's a lump in the body, but don't worry, it's not dangerous, it's not cancerous, meaning it's not going to lead to death, and it can in many cases be safely removed surgically. Whereas others are malignant. Malignant refers again to a tumor or cancer, but in this case it is dangerous, right? It is cancerous and potentially deadly, and it all depends at what stage you have discovered it. If you found it early, there's a greater chance for greater success and output for the patient. In simple terms, think of an organ or a tissue like a city. To maintain harmony in the city, or say a country, right, whether it's a city or a country, to maintain harmony in the city, the mayor decides that there should be only 1,000 citizens in one apartment block or a flat, so that there is enough food, housing, water, and electricity for those 1,000 residents, right? There is balance and harmony. But at the entrance to the apartment block, there is a passport control system, a security guard, to ensure that only the residents can stay in the apartment. However, what happens with cancer is as follows. However, if the passport control system fails for whatever reason, then many unwanted immigrants come to stay in this apartment or this building. The apartment block landlords then start building more illegal high-rise buildings attached to the main block to cope with illegal tenants. There is pressure on the sewers because now there's more people than what you expect. Maybe there's 2,000 tenants, 5,000 tenants staying in one block. So to cope with illegal tenants, there's pressure on the sewage, on the water, the electricity, and so on. Crime increases and there's lack of service delivery. This is simple terms cancer. That means it is out of balance. There are more cells in the body or in that organ that can cope with the body. So for the growth of that cancer, the cancer then starts taking nutrition from other parts of the body, and that's why people become thin and they start becoming fatigued, right? In a normal body, cells die, new cells replace them. When there are enough new cells to replace the dead ones, then a switch informs that tissue to stop producing more cells. And the switch component is very, very important, because in the case of cancer, cells die, new cells replace them. However, in this case, the off switch is no longer working. So no one is telling that organ that, you know what, we've got enough cells here, we don't need any more. And the body continues, that organ continues making more and more and more cells, and that's how you form a lump. So the cells keep on multiplying like illegal immigrants without passport control. This puts a strain on the tissue. The blood vessels start multiplying to cope with the increased demands for food, oxygen, and water. The cancer cells are very greedy and hungry for food and nutrition. When the person does not eat well, then the cancer cells take food away from other parts of the body. This is known as muscle wasting. The body starts eating itself. That's how hungry the cancer is, right? And that is why the patient becomes thinner, tired, and more susceptible to new infections. In simple terms, in cancer, the off switch is broken, and the cells keep on multiplying out of control like a very hungry monster that keeps on eating and growing and devouring. Ergo, before this monster grows very big, it is better to surgically cut it out and throw it out and send it for a biopsy while it is still small. In other cases, it has to be nuked with heavy-duty medication, with chemotherapy or radiation to reduce its size. But this monster is very crafty. It can break off and send its children or mafia to other parts of the body via the bloodstream, so that its children can cause havoc throughout the whole body. And the lesson here is, in simple terms, the sooner cancer is detected, the better it is insofar as management and control is concerned by the oncologist. Join me in the next episode as we continue with what causes cancer. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah.